It's a very interesting conversation that I've had many times with other musicians. It's about maintaining, the musical dignity, it's my best way of putting it. Doing something that's accessible to somebody that's not musical or that is not a musician.
Welcome to episode 153 of the Bass Shed Podcast. My name is Ryan Roberts. All right, what's up, folks? On the episode, I'm joined by bassist Tom Kennedy. Tom is one of today's premier acoustic and electric bassists whose career has spanned decades as a recording artist, bandleader, composer, and educator. Known for his extraordinary technique, deep swing, melodic approach to the instrument, Tom has performed with amazing artists including Dave Weckl, Michael Brecker, Steps Ahead. Tom has been dedicated to pursuing an artistic path of releasing his own music, and that's what we're going to talk about on the episode. All right, so my guest, Tom Kennedy, has released his new album titled The Summit, inspired by classic jazz quintets and quintets that shaped him as a young musician. The recording reflects Tom's lifelong love of bebop, hard bop, and the rich jazz tradition. We're obviously going to talk about Tom's new recording titled The Summit. We're also going to talk about his compositional process, characteristics that are important to him as a bassist, as a band leader, as a composer, where we're going to investigate all of these aspects and not only talk about the record, but the artist behind the record. That Tom Kennedy as the artist who produced this record, not just producing a record in the sense of deciding what take to use, but who generated the music for this and where that music comes from within him. It's a very inside look at Tom's artistic process and what matters to him as a bass player, as a composer, and as a band leader. Tom's been on the show before. I always love having Tom Kennedy on the show. I always love listening to his new albums. Definitely check it out. Again, the album is called The Summit. There's a link in the show notes. And here it is. Here's my talk with bassist Tom Kennedy. Hey, Tom. How you doing, man? Good to see you again. Doing all right. How you doing? Smoking mirrors. Smoking mirrors, my man. Man, it's always great to have you on, and you got another new record out. You're just pumping them out. This is fantastic. It's inspiring. So let's talk about this new record, right? You got a new record out called The Summit. Before we get into this one, what have been some pivotal or inspirational records throughout the years for you? Like, I remember last time you were on, we talked a lot about more about your journey as a bassist and maybe less about your journey as a recording artist. But we did talk about that record. What were some pivotal records that kind of shaped you as a composer and a recording artist? For your solo stuff, you've done a lot of work as a sideman and a session player as well, but when it comes to Tom Kennedy, the artist. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Mm. Okay. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Right, 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 right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Sure. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind of on topic. Maybe you've read through this book or not. I want to say, I don't remember when the book was published, but it was a book called The Jazz Ear. And I didn't plan on talking about this book actually, so I didn't research it. I should know, who the author was and all that stuff. Um, but what you were talking about reminded me of this book. And the concept of the book was he sits down with jazz legends. There's a chapter with Matheny. I think the first chapter is Wayne Shorter. And he sits down with these legends and wants to talk to them about the music they listen to and the records they enjoy. The only kind of caveat is they cannot have played on the record. So it's fun to hear what people are listening to, like these iconic musicians are listening to in their free time and the records that inspired them. So Horace Silver, being one, and his recording collection catalog has inspired you. What do you listen to in your free time? Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure. Yeah, the range. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Sure. Sure. Mm. Oh, really? I'm not laughing at the car accident, but uh, wow. Yeah, sure, sure, right. Now that the insurance settlement's over. Um, uh, sure. Yeah, yeah, sure. Speaking about first, me too. I have everything in the collection here from Whitney Houston to Jim Croce to Shelley Mann to there's it's a wide selection. So I agree with you, and I think for me it's the story. If the song has a story, and there's a sense of imagery to it, and even my favorite improvisers have that same quality. I'm always looking for the story and to follow a musician on a journey. Those are the things that are impactful for me. Hmm. Yeah. Sure. Hmm. Right. Right. Yeah. 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 No. Right. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. We were all there. Yeah. It's so weird to think about, man. Like, what a kind of traumatic time that was, and it seems like it was so long ago, and it wasn't that long ago, you know. And yeah, it's weird to kind of revisit that idea and where we were all at and what we were doing and all the guessing that was involved with, like, what is this thing going to turn into? How are we going to, as musicians and as a society and on so many levels. It was crazy. You mentioned listening to classical music. I don't remember talking about this last time, but as an acoustic player, do you study classical music? Are you shedding etudes or concertos? Like, is that a part of your? I'm sure. I mean, just from hearing you play, clearly you've gone through classical technique. You have very advanced technique on acoustic to double bass. But is that still something you practice? Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to guilt you into. This isn't an intervention. This is, yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Sure. Right. 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 Hmm. Sure. And the power of it, and so many people coming together just to deliver this punch of sound, not only within a section but the orchestra on a whole, and it's yeah. Hmm. Right, right, right. Sure. Yeah, yeah, it's always been a bit of a stumbling block for me too, and it's something I'm kind of confronting. Um, did you ever go through the jazz tradition and any Slam Stewart, solos or bowing any solos just to kind of marry the two worlds from the tradition and I mean, yeah, sure, sure, right, mm-hmm, right, yeah. Nope. And put it back in the holster. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because maybe there's walls, but it's also just choosing your lane for who you want to be as an artist. If that you don't want that aspect to be part of your artistry, then I don't know if it's a wall or just a boundary to like I can express myself better this way. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure. Right. Okay. What age is the youth symphony? Is that like high school or young college? Okay. Okay. Sure. Yeah, right, right. No, yeah, but you might question your vibrato, about halfway through. But sure, yeah. But we started strong. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Still in the double bass conversation. Given the go-tos, Ray Brown, PC, those guys, um, what other guys might have been some influences in your sound development and your line development? There's some older guys that maybe don't get enough attention. I think George DeVivier doesn't get the attention he deserves for so many records he played on with Sonny Stitt, and his sound was killing and his lines were happening. Who were some other inspirations for you on double bass besides the normal Mount Rushmore of double bassists that we've all been inspired by? Yeah. Yeah, you got that. Absolutely. Thank you. I'm so glad you referenced Blanton. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he had. Yeah. Um, Blanton, Blanton. When I've really sat and like checked out his lines and stuff, they were so ahead of their time. Like what he was doing with like, I mean, if he would have been around longer and had the time, to explore some of these things and a lot of these budding seeds of where he was going, if that some of that developed, what he was doing with displacement, rhythmic displacement, and it was all there. Like bebop vocabulary was kind of all there, like yeah, right, yeah, yeah, right, 100%, sure, yeah, mm-hmm, yeah, Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. And then just what he was doing, kind of conceptually and conversationally, uh, created a whole school of playing. And like, if you want to learn how to quote unquote float, you got to check out LaFaro because that's where all that stuff comes from. There's a Cal Jada record. Um, do you know the one? I think it's a quintet or something, and he plays a solo on not Black Cow. That's the Steely Dan tune. uh, Something Cow, I think. On man, and it's so great to hear him play in a bigger setting and not a trio and not so conversational, more of a traditional role, and that's one of my favorite LaFaro records. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I'm blanking on the name too, but it's I love. I mean, he did some things with Ornette, obviously with Bill Evans, but then hearing him in a larger size band and how he navigated that and where his space was, he didn't have the same space to do the same thing that were he's so known for. Yeah. Mm. Okay. No, I haven't seen those. Okay. All right. Okay. Hmm. Right. Yeah. Right, right, right. How he's interpreting it and moving to it. Yeah. Mm. I know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Were a lot of. Oh yeah. Go ahead. Please. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking you were either gonna say him or Miroslav. I didn't know which one. I was kind of waiting to hear either one, but all right, all right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he set the standard early on for what it means, uh, to play in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean, Ray obviously, and it's one of the reasons why he's Ray Brown and is immortalized. There's such an authority in his quarter note. It's not just that he puts it on top and it pushes the music forward, but it's the sound and how the sound relates to the time feel, and that it's all working together. It's the synergy about what he's creating to establish the foundation, and it's I find that really strong with him. PC, although I gotta say, I've always gravitated more towards Paul. There's something about his relaxed nature. It was a little bit. It wasn't as. It didn't have the same edge, but it did, but it didn't. You know, there was doing the same thing, but just a little bit more laid back, and I've always appreciated that. And I think I've always been a more PC kind of Sam Jones guy. Sure. Right. Mm. Yeah. Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah. He's got to support that. You know, that's a tall order. Hmm. Right. Pass or Herb Ellis or something. Sure. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And now to parlay that into this record, and I believe you just got off a tour also. Your longtime cohort, Dave Weckl, who is a legend. How do you approach playing with Dave differently than you would another drummer? Okay. Hmm. Oh, okay. Are they suggesting this because he's got so much technique and finding your place as a bassist? I mean, everything is so precise. Every time I've ever listened to Weckl, that it seems like you know exactly where you fit because he leaves space for you to fit there. Yeah. Mm. Right. Mm. Right. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. 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 Right. There's a constant happening in everything he's doing on top of it. He's still laying down a fundamental to be blowing on top of. Mm-hmm. Sure. Right. 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 Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How is because you guys have been playing together a long time. Yeah. So I mean there's a tight what's that? Yeah. I mean I was about to say it's coming up on a decade. I think November is a decade, right? Uh, so not only the social connection and the friendship that's there personally and how that impacts the music. Dave being such a strong player and strong fusion player and what he's doing and all that stuff. There's a lot of it when drummers do things. I don't always understand it in real time. I don't know what they're doing. It sounds cool. Sometimes I can hear how they're doing groupings and like, okay, I think you were grouping things at 5 or something there. How has playing with the drummer that strong shaped your rhythmic vocabulary? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Right. Well, yeah, some adults also. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I agree. Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Sure. Sure. Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
We'll be back right after this.
If you're enjoying this conversation, there's even more waiting for you at the Bass Shed Backstage. Backstage is where the podcast continues beyond the public episodes with exclusive podcast extras created for bass players who want to dive deeper. Members get access to the 5 Spot, an extension of the podcast where guests respond to 5 rapid-fire bassist callouts sharing their first reactions about the players who inspired them. You'll also unlock the Listening Room, a guided listening experience exploring landmark recordings, the bassist behind them, and what makes these albums so influential. Backstage members receive exclusive discounts on courses and workshops from the Bass Shed Academy, plus all access to our growing library of bass transcriptions and lessons. Become a Backstage member at thebassshed.com. Scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the show notes below.
Excellent.
Now, I agree with you that it's about the collective. You know, you're working together to establish something for everybody else to build off of. That being said, how do you interact with the concept of the leadership nature that happens from the bass chair? Because we can dictate a lot, you know, by just a little tweak of the rudder, and it can send a tune all the way over here now. So we are coming into agreement to create a synergy, but we're also responsible for a lot, and we can really make some strong moves subtly. How do you address both of those things at the same time? And hold on, let me ask a more generic question. Sure. It's about cooperative playing, but it's also, there's a leadership quality within this music, jazz music, and playing the bass. And so how do you marry those two? You're building with, but you're also, there's a leadership responsibility there. Mm-hmm. Sure. Right. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're not, I did not represent that question well, but it's not about throwing a monkey wrench into the thing but there is you're supporting, but also taking them to where you hear them going. You know, like whether it's under a soloist or, you know, a tune or something, like, okay, I'm feeling this tension right now, so I'm going to really lean into that tension to see if you'll explore that further. You know, and I think that those are some leadership qualities that happen from the bass. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Note to self. Sure. Yeah, and it's not, I don't know, I feel like it's not necessarily pushing boundaries or testing boundaries, but I try to see what people respond to. You know, because some people might let some of those things slide and they're focused on another aspect of what's happening, and then other players are going to jump on everything. You know, they're gonna respond to even the words you didn't say. And so you just kind of like, okay, where's our dynamic going to be? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You got a new record out, The Summit, 9 tracks. Great record, by the way. Great record. I'll let you give an overview of the record before I got some questions to ask, but yeah. Well, that's hopefully they're more thought out than the last one. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of to preface, I guess, that last question. I just got done doing a really deep dive on the Dave Holland, Sam Rivers album, and it's there's so much gentle nudging that Dave Holland does that, but then there's also some U-turns. You know, Dave Holland will just pull up on the e-brake and flip the car around. All in, there's a lot of quick pivots too. But listening to both of those things, I'm very inspired by that record right now. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on some of those concepts. That record's, man. After I did that, I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, that level of not only technique and what he did on the bass on that record, but just artistry. That was all free, and like he delivered that on the spot. Like, you get one take to do that, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Dave Holland is on it. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a mountain range at this point. Yeah. So The Summit, you got 9 tracks. This is a bigger band than the last album, titled, what was the last one? New Beginnings? Was that the last record you did? New Start. Yes. New Start. So you have a bigger band on this, and there's slightly different energy. So talk about this record, how this record came to be, and what were some specific influences for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely with the composition of the themes, and there's strong acoustic playing on it, and there's more nods to maybe the tradition than I remember hearing on the last record. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I can see what you mean by that. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm. And when you speak of boundaries in that sense, not going too far out of a box within a style, is that just kind of honoring the vocabulary of a specific style? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Right. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a big inspiration, was still going back to those Horace Silver records. Was there one specific record? And while you were composing, were you revisiting Horace Silver records just for added inspiration on maybe where a tune could go? You know, maybe how to set up another section of the song, use a similar device that Horace did on something? That's hilarious because it's like, yeah, that actually would have been a good idea. Maybe I should have. Yeah. No, don't. Trust me, I've been working on. I got a record done, and I think I'm still working on it. I can't seem to let him go. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Well, and that's the fun of playing this kind of music, and and pressure testing it, on the road and seeing what the tune's made out of and how many places it can go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a tribute record, or it's not you're not trying to do a replica of, you know. Uh, but I think how you spoke of it is it, the correct approach. Is let it live in the tank, and it'll come out how it's going to come out naturally through your own artistic voice, instead of doing a recreation and trying to paint the Mona Lisa again. It's been done. Yeah. Did when you were touring Spain with this this music recently? Okay. Did you get out of Europe before the World Cup started? Okay. Okay, I was just saying because that could be a whole different thing of travel. Was being over there during the World Cup. Okay. Yeah, cool. Oh yeah. Oof, and the humidity. Yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay. Cool. Right. Mm-hmm. Sure. Right. Yeah, yeah. Right, right. That it's gonna work out. Did you travel with the guys from the record, or were you picking up guys in Europe? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do your thing. Do your thing. Yeah. You just spoke about the flexibility of the music and the musicians. How much of that is on your mind when you're composing? About like creating something that's not so specific, so it has flexibility, and it can be interpreted slightly different, every night, or there's always places to go with the music. Is this on your mind when you're composing a tune, leaving space for interpretation of it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Right. Yeah, and it's coming together in a new way because you're playing it regularly and yeah. Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's funny that I don't know if it's funny, but you bring up Steps Ahead. Steps Ahead was a huge inspiration. The band, almost every iteration of it, was a huge inspiration to me in my writing. I loved Steps Ahead. Um, that and when you spoke about what the audience responds to, Steps Ahead is very, but there's no everybody knows it's a very more commercial project than other things that happen within jazz. Do you think about the audience when composing? Is that something you're sensitive to when you're putting the music together? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Sure. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, 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 right. Yeah, it doesn't have the ears for dense harmony, sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I mean, not this isn't how you were just speaking about fields, but there's a diverse palette of fields on this record. A lot of Brazilian inspired, samba inspired, funk inspired. Even the shuffle kind of has like a second line quality to it, so it's not just like a bar shuffle, but there's like a cultural depth to the shuffle on that tune. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it was cool. Because it wasn't. It's like this right down the middle 50-50 shuffle, which it's very much a shuffle, and it's still very strong. Not full commitment to the second line pattern, but you can see it's like it's straddling the line right down the middle. Like he's got a foot on both sides of the fence all the way through. And then it swings, which is a whole different feel on that tune. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Right. How specific was it when putting this record together? Were you writing tunes for tune's sake and then just see how they work as a collection? Or were you conceiving of this as writing a record and wanting to make sure that different fields were represented on the record? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Right. Yeah, when you can hear it, yeah. And if you revisit it in a couple months, that it's like, okay, what was the groove I was singing again? Because all I have is 3/4 notes. Like, what is this? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to kind of break up the. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Sure. Right, right. Yeah, right. It's not paint by numbers. It's just like this little story starter. Like, let me see where this can go and if it can fit in. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Any more touring coming up with the band? Oh, very cool. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Right. Right. What if you're, I mean, you got this record out and this is, great, but what have you been doing sideman wise? Just, are you still, no? Have you been putting a lot of time and energy into the artist portion of the career? Yeah. Good for you. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. Did that have an impact on your playing? Like, really kind of being bold in establishing this is the path and being very deliberate about a career direction instead of just like, well, let's see what phone call I get this week or this month or, instead of being subject to the phone ringing and that's the gig and just a working sideman, has it changed your playing to be more definitive about your direction in your career? Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Sure. Sure. Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it does. And I mean, I asked the question because it's something that's important to me in my playing lately, is to not really take all the sideman gigs I would normally be taking. And, you know, I want to do this and I have things I want to express artistically. And so, and that in turn changes my playing as a sideman, because just being so definitive and, really putting yourself out there, you know, strengthens you in a way that affects everything, you know. Absolutely, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right, 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 right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, fantastic new record. It's on all the streaming places, correct? Yeah. Is there a vinyl release? Are you gonna do some pressings? No. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 Good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's one of the aspects of being a band leader and getting into all these things is you have to deal with those questions, you know, and what's your distribution game gonna be like, you know? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to write a damn tune. Like, I don't know what yeah. Sure. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this episode, you can support the Bass Shed podcast by clicking subscribe and giving this video a thumbs up on YouTube, or by following the show and leaving a rating or review on your favorite podcast app. Every subscription, like, rating, and review helps grow and connect the bass community. Thank you for your support.
All right. That was my talk with Tom Kennedy. Again, the record is titled The Summit. Absolutely check it out. There's a link in the show notes. I always love having Tom on. I like listening to his records. I like getting inside of what makes him tick as a musician. He's definitely somebody I've known of pretty much my whole career, and I've been checking out pretty much my whole career. And it's always great to sit and talk with him and get to learn more about his process as a bassist and as a composer. All right, folks, that's about all I got for this one. I'll catch you on the next one in a minute.